everyone, today I'll be reviewing my new 4.0 Reimagined MOC ROCKA. This is what the actual ROCKA 4.0 set looked like. He took about 6 hours of work and he's upwards of 300 pieces. Before we get into the actual detailed review, let's go ahead and do a size comparison. I'll go ahead and put ROCKA right back here, and then I'll put right next to him Evo 4.0 Reimagined, and Evo is basically exactly average when it comes to heroes in height. And here's Splitface. I believe Splitface is the tallest villain right now, and as you can see, he is a lot taller than ROCKA. I would say ROCKA is just right about average whenever it comes to height, at least when concerning the heroes, but up to the villains, he's definitely a lot shorter than the typical villain. The legs were the last part of the build that I actually constructed, and the majority of the build time of the legs was spent building the feet. I don't usually build custom feet, and so when I do, I always take a little bit longer than necessary, just making sure they're stable and that they look good. The legs aren't very complex, actually. The main bulk of the legs is just comes from armor add-on pieces like this big 2016 Bionicle armor plate piece. And as you can see, the underlying structure is just a few Technic pieces, but really the main bulk of the leg is just accomplished through those big armor plate pieces. There really aren't that many advanced techniques I used here. All I did was just make a Technic endoskeleton and then just cover it with mainly Bionicle 2016 armor plates, and a few Hero Factory armor plates right there on the shins. And turning them around back, I used the same armor plate right here. I also used that back there. I used probably like 6 or 8 of those in this build because they're such a useful piece, and I really don't have that many gold Technics, and so that's one of the reasons why I use so many of those Bionicle armor plates. The arm design took a lot longer than the leg design did, mainly because both of the arms have a completely different design because they're a different color of the actual ROCKA set. One of my favorite parts of the actual ROCKA 4.0 was definitely his bow. It was always just odd to me how he had a bow meteor blaster, and so I just kept that same design. And I used these 2 pieces right here that I got from a Star Wars buildable figure that I've never seen on any other Lego set. And so I decided to use those for the 2 little, what are they called? The arms that stick off of a crossbow. I don't know the exact name, but that's just what my guess would be. But I like the look of that design, and I also gave it a little scope on top. And this underbarrel right here actually would shoot some sort of probably a laser, but this right here is a bow. Now, I did always wonder why in 4.0 he did have a bow, because that's not a very good weapon, especially against mechanical villains. That's not really gonna be the most effective weapon. But nonetheless, I did really like that bow on ROCKA 4.0. Another one of my favorite designs has to be that I used ROCKA 5.0's head right there as an armor plate on his arm. This arm is definitely my favorite. I don't really like dark gray necessarily because it is a little bit bland, but the gold does look really cool because it's kind of flashy in a way, and I've never built a MOC out of gold before, and so that's probably one of the reasons why I think it looks so good. Once again, I did use another one of those Bionicle 2016 armor plates right back there to give him some armor on his tricep. And then I used one of those big Bionicle armor plates from the original Bionicle. I got that from, I believe, a Glatorian. I don't remember what his name was, but I got 3 Bionicle armor plate pieces from a Glatorian, and you'll see those dispersed throughout the MOC, like that one, and that one, and that one all came from the same Glatorian. And I gave him his shield just like he had on the actual set, except I extended it a little bit by adding another shield to give it just a little bit extra length. The gray arm is a lot bulkier. It has a lot more mass, especially around the forearm, and it can move decently well. It doesn't have that much range of motion in the elbow, but the shoulder joint has quite a bit of movement, and so does this shoulder also. And this one's forearm can move a little bit higher than the gray arm can, as you can see. And I put this big Hero Factory armor plate piece right here to cover his shoulder, and the actual ROCKA 4.0 also had that, so that's one of the reasons I decided to keep that design the same. The body definitely took the majority of the build time, and it was obviously the first thing that I built, and everything else was I kind of just went by ear with that, but for the body I had a specific design that I had in mind. And so it took a lot longer making sure I got it exactly how I wanted it. I bought these two little, I don't know exactly what they would be called, but they're kind of golden engine details or kind of fin details, and I thought they looked super cool, and so I bought them to mount the core, to surround the core. And so I bought those, and I knew I had to put them right there beside the core, and so it took me a while to get them exactly at the angle I wanted them to be at, and right at the elevation, and right in the center of the body. And so that's why it took me a little longer to make his body than the typical 4.0 Reimagined MOC. Another hard detail to work out was these two slanted armor plates. They have a little bit of wiggle, but that's actually a good thing because I don't want them to bend the pieces, and so I always leave a little bit of wiggle room whenever I add angled piece, just to make sure I'm not bending any pieces. And then I added another small bionicle armor plate piece right down there. I put a lot of vents up here to cover a bunch of random colors that I didn't want to be seen. And so as you can see, there's a big assembly right here that goes from this side all the way there of just a few Lego pieces covered in vents, just so you can't see some exposed technics in the inside of the build. I put a few more of those bionicle armor plates up there to give him some shoulder plates, and they kind of surround his head, and it makes him look extra heavy duty. His back is kind of flat, unfortunately. I realized that at the very end, that it was a little bit flat from the side, but I don't think that's necessarily too bad of a look, and it is covered up nicely. You can't really see anything, any funky colors or anything like that. I used Scarox's head from 5.0 up here just to surround his head and to kind of give him some neck armor. And so that's a really cool design. It still does bother me, the fact that it is a little bit flat, though. But it was very last minute. The back was the last thing that I did, and I put this bionicle shield piece right there at the very end just to cover up the rest of his back. And despite the fact that the back isn't necessarily my favorite design, I really do like how he looks from the front and how his core is mounted. Right here I have 3 of the 9 4.0 heroes, and I've completed all 9 of the 4.0 heroes in my own reimagined style. And if you'd like to see their reviews, all of the links will be in the description. And if you're a longtime subscriber, you'll know that now that ROCKA is done, I'll be building Black Phantom. So that means Black Phantom is the very last 4.0 Reimagined MOC. And once he's finished and once he has been reviewed, I'll put all of the 4.0 Reimagined MOCs together in one video so you can see what that'll look like. Hopefully Black Phantom will be finished and reviewed by next Wednesday. If not, I'll let you know, and I'll review him on Thursday or Friday if he's not completed. As always, thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe and check out some of my other MOC reviews.